Hey mama, if you're listening to this, you might be carrying a secret that feels too heavy to speak out loud. You look like you got it all together, you serve at church, maybe you even lead a Bible study. You smile when you drop off the kids, but no one sees the other side of you, the one that comes out behind closed doors. At home, you are a completely different person. You yell, you explode, you scream at your kids, sometimes in their face. You tell them to shut up. You grab them too harshly. You throw things across the room. You smack them in anger, twist their ears, spank them in rage, and immediately after, you are hit with a tidal wave of shame. You cry alone in your room and you whisper, "God, what is wrong with me?" You feel scared and disgusted by your own reactions. You're terrified that someone might find out. You wonder if your kids would be better off without you. You feel unworthy, broken, and too far gone to be redeemed. You try to fix this on your own. You listen to podcasts, parenting books, download freebies, but nothing changes. You keep falling back into the same patterns, and it feels like you are stuck in a cycle that you can't break. You don't trust yourself anymore, and if you're honest, you are afraid of who you become. But here's the truth, Mama. You are not beyond hope. You're not alone, and with God's help and the right support, you can change. I'm Elizabeth, a mom of 4 and an anger management coach for Christian moms. And inside my Calm Christian Mom coaching program, I guide women just like you through a powerful transformation. This isn't shallow behavior management. We go deep. We address your triggers, your stress, your mindset, your nervous system, and the spiritual root behind your patterns. We invite God into every layer and walk hand in hand towards healing. In just 12 weeks, you can become a completely different mom, unrecognizable. One who leads with patience, not panic. One whose children feel emotionally safe around her. One who cultivates peace. This summer, I'm offering a Calm Mama strategy session, a powerful 15-minute one-on-one coaching session designed to help you uncover the root of your anger and receive spiritual, emotional, and practical support. It's your chance to experience what coaching is like with me before diving deeper into ongoing support. If we both feel like the full program is the next right step, we can talk about what that looks like for you. You don't have to keep living like this. Your family is worth healing, and so are you. Use the link in the show notes to book the Calm Mama strategy session. Have you ever caught yourself thinking thoughts like, "My kids won't let me do XYZ. They are making me yell. If only they did what I wanted them to do, I wouldn't do XYZ. Why is this always happening to me? My kids always do this. My kids never do this." If you ever caught yourself in a place where you are blaming, complaining, and justifying your negative reactions, you are stuck in a victim mentality perspective. And that is what we're going to talk on this podcast: how to recognize when you are in a victim mentality perspective and how to take your thoughts captive and redirect them and flip it around and have an empowered perspective where you take ownership and responsibility for your own actions and make better choices moving forward that are aligned with the mom that you want to be and that helps you stay calm and grounded. Right now, before we jump into the episode, I will play a win from one of my clients who in my Calm Christian Mom coaching program. She is a mom of 5 girls. She stays home with them full time. And she joined the coaching program desperate for help, and she is halfway through the program and is already experiencing massive wins. So I want you to listen to her testimonial, and right after that, I jump into victim mentality because this recording was actually pulled from that actual coaching call that I had with mamas that same day. And I explain what victim mentality is and how it applies to our day-to-day lives and how we can redirect it in practical ways to feel empowered and in control instead of out of control in those circumstances?
I have 5 girls, 10, 5 twin 3-year-olds, and a baby. So I feel like 3-year-old twins is like a whole nother level from infant twins. People would be like, oh, 2 babies, so hard. And I'm like, no, twin 3-year-olds are breaking me. Like, they are breaking me. So we all, 5 girls plus the 2 parents, we all went to 2 different towns back to back days this weekend. We traveled 2.5 hours away for one family thing on Saturday, came home, and then traveled a half hour away Sunday for a family thing, came home. And that right there is just like a recipe for triggers of being on time, being stuck in a moving vehicle with potty trained kids and diapers and nursing and snacks. And so it has a lot of potential to be really hard. So I was vision writing about this, praying about this. One of the events was in a retirement party for my mom, who I got my dedication to being on time from her. And she didn't go through a 12-week anger coaching program. And so I got a lot of not so healthy habits from her. So I was just really anxious about it. But through all of the like practical prep things I could do, plus vision writing and getting myself into a good mindset, having good morning routine Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it was just a really fine weekend. Like, there was hard moments, and the baby has been crying for 30 minutes. And if we stop one more time, then we're never gonna, quote, never gonna get home. And so we just have to push through it. And lots of opportunities for meltdowns because the twins didn't get naps either day, which was just another like strike. So it went a lot better than I thought. I didn't have any major blowups. I certainly had times towards the end of each day when we're carrying these tired little girls to their beds against their wills a lot of the time, getting them into bed. And there was hard moments and frustrated tones, but no rage moments where I'm throwing kids into bed, because I have a twin, a 3-year-old, who just will not stay in her bed at night sometimes. It had the potential to be really messy this weekend, and a lot of just poor choices and anger, and lots of that could have bubbled over, and it didn't.
So, what do you think contributed to that?
I think morning routine has been really big for me, getting quiet, alone space in the morning. At least sometimes the baby ends up joining me, but she's fine. That's not too bad. Morning time, and then also like allowing myself to check out in the littlest moments I can. Going to the bathroom and staying in the bathroom for an extra long time at my sister's house, just to like catch a few 5 minutes, 6 minutes of just like quiet-ish space. Or yeah, going to bed earlier, cutting corners and leftovers again. Sorry, I'm not making a lot of dishes. I'm not stressing that we've had, pizza for 5 out of the last 6 meals. We're just gonna let this be what it is. And I feel like nutrition is something I can get hung up on with my kids, of like really wanting them to eat well. And then that becomes a control thing because I can't force them to chew and swallow things. So yeah, letting go of a lot of control stuff, preparing myself beforehand and giving myself grace for why this is hard, and expecting it to be kind of hard, and not expecting them to manage themselves.
You did a great job with
Yeah.
that. I'm proud of you. That's big for you, because a couple months ago probably wouldn't happen that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What would you say it would have happened a couple months ago? How would have it played out?
Oh, it would have been lots of tension in the car. It would have been a tense hour as Jimmy and I bickered back and forth on the way out, because we left 20 minutes late and I had to do it all and you didn't do anything. And why do we always do this? And my mom's texting me, are we on the road yet? That would have just carried all day. And the kids rubbing their faces on the fancy Italian restaurants mirrors would have been like, no, stop. What are you doing, guys? Why can't I take you anywhere? You just always are doing, lots of this escalating all day, and then full burnout by the end, and yelling at them to stay in their beds, or putting them in their beds, or handling them roughly, or like
Yeah.
whatever that would have looked like. A lot of them.
I'm glad that you were able to, handle it differently. What a blessing. And I'm sure that part of you feels really proud of the way that you handled it. And
Yeah.
that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Not prideful, but proud of the
Yeah.
way that you handled it because of the work that you've put in to get there. So let's talk about the victim mentality. So victim mentality is kind of a mind perspective. Have you ever met a person in your life who blames, complains, and justifies their actions? They constantly complain when something doesn't go their way. They blame everyone else for their choices, for their poor decisions, and they justify the poor choices that they made because of what someone else did and said. Anybody have a person that they know of like that in their life? And so that is the victim mentality. And a perfect example of it is in the Garden of Eden. When Adam and Eve, they sinned and they ate from the tree with the fruit. And God came to Adam and he asked him, "Did you eat from the fruit of the tree?" He's like, "Yes, but Eve gave it to me." So he blamed it. He was right there. He played the victim. He blamed it on Eve. So God asked Eve, "Did you eat from the fruit of the tree that I told you not to eat?" And she's like, "Yes, but the snake tricked me." Again, she blamed it on the snake. She didn't take any responsibility for her own actions, which she did. So, empowerment is when you take responsibility for your actions. Victim mentality, you are in this negative perspective, you're blaming, complaining, and justifying. That's how you know you're in victim mentality. When you're blaming the other person for your actions, you're justifying, you're yelling, screaming, hurting them. Well, if they just listen to me, I wouldn't have to do this. It's their fault. Blaming, it's their fault that I did XYZ, and just complaining about your kids, about your life. They're making my life miserable. They're making it hard. I just shared with you that I had a really hard day with my kids yesterday, with my daughter. But there's a difference between she's making my life miserable and hard. I hate when she does this. This is terrible versus it feels really hard for me when she does that. We don't want to remove the fact that something feels hard, but complaining is just you are complaining about the circumstance and you don't want to do anything to change it. You're not willing to do anything on your part to change it. So that's how you recognize you're in the victim mentality, okay? Victim mentality, the thoughts would be like, "Oh, they always do this. They never do this. Of course, my kids are doing this. They won't let me do XYZ. They're making me." And so this is how we know we are in victim mentality. When we have those thoughts, "Oh, it's their fault. They're making me. They won't let me." So empowerment perspective is these are the facts and I am responsible for my own actions, what I do moving forward. So let's take the scenario with my situation. My daughter wake up in the morning. I still have victim mentality thoughts all the time. Even my coach, who teaches on this a lot, she's like, I still catch myself in the victim mentality. It's like you can catch and redirect. My first thought is she's ruining my morning routine. She won't let me have my morning routine. Now I have to stay in the room with her to get her to fall asleep. Well, what is the flip side of that? Do I have to be in the room with her? No, I don't. But what is she going to do? She's probably going to scream, yell, throw things, be really loud, and wake up everybody. Do I have to be there? No, I don't have to. I choose to be there. Now that feels really hard because your mind is like, "No, I have to be there." No, actually, I chose to go in there. I could have just left it alone. I chose to go be over there with her in the room. She won't let me focus. My kids are interrupting me. They won't let me focus. Well, technically, I could just let them watch screens. I'm just choosing not to. That is on me. So we redirect the focus. What is my ownership and responsibility in this situation? Because let's say you made food for your kids, they didn't eat it, and then you're like, "They made me throw it away. They didn't eat what I made. I had to throw it away." No, you didn't have to throw it away. You could have wrapped it up and saved it for later. And when they tell you that they're hungry, you're like, "Here, you can eat it. I'll warm it up for you and you can eat it later." You chose to throw it away. Now that feels really hard because our mind is like, "No, no, no, no. They made me do it. I had to do it." No, you chose to. That was, you get to decide as a parent, are you going to just keep the food on the table, keep it there until they get hungry enough to eat it? Are you going to choose to make something new next time? Are you going to wrap it up, put it in the fridge? What are you going to choose to do next? So Empowerment is focusing on what is in your control, what you are choosing to do next. So let's go to your scenario, Abby, because that's really tricky, right? Like it's a very tricky situation. So the victim mentality is like, well, they won't let me go spend time with my mom. I have to sit here so they don't come out of the room. Well, you want them to stay in the room, okay? So
Mhm.
you're choosing to sit there. You don't have to sit there. You could leave and then deal with them coming out. You chose to stay there. So, if in that moment you were able to caught your thought, okay, I'm choosing to stay here because I want them to stay in their rooms, this is my chance to just slow down, sit, and breathe. Because all day I've been going, 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 going. This is my chance to just slow down and sit and rest. I just saw this a while back, a few weeks ago. Maybe God gives those babies that want to be held all the time, specifically to those moms that are constantly go, 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 to force them to slow down so they can sit and rest. And so technically, you didn't have to stay in the room with the kids. You chose to do that.
Yep.
That was a decision that you made because you wanted them to stay in bed. Or you could have go and spend time with your mom and deal with them coming out, guiding them back to their bed. You could have let them stay up later, but you chose to stay in the room because you knew that if you didn't, they'd probably come out. But that was a decision. Nobody made you. Nobody had a gun to your head and said, you have to stay in this room. You chose to do that. And when we see it from a perspective like, oh, I choose to do this because that's how I can get the result that I want, we feel more empowered. And maybe this is my chance to slow down and rest for a little bit. Thoughts are not facts. Just because your mind has a thought about a circumstance, about your kids, that does not make it true. And when you have a thought and you're able to recognize that thought that you're thinking, like let's say you're sitting there in the room with the kids as they're falling asleep and you have those negative thoughts and you can question yourself, is this true? Is this thought the truth? What is the truth? And if we can even align it with scripture and find the truth in the scripture, that's even better. But sometimes, based on the circumstances that we're in, we're like, I don't know, like a Bible verse that aligns with that, because the thought that you're thinking right now, it's not serving you, it's not helping you, it's producing so much more frustration, resentment, bitterness. Challenge your thought. Is it the truth? Do I want to focus and dwell on that and expand on that? Because if you're like, my kids won't let me go spend time with my mom, I have to sit here. Is that the truth? The truth is, I choose to sit here because I want them to go to sleep. I'm choosing to do this, and this is my chance to slow down. I can stretch my neck, listen to an audiobook. I get to connect with my mom later on, and she's going to move up soon and live near us, and I get to spend even more time with her. That is the
Yeah.
truth. And so we've redirect our mind to that. The circumstance does not change, right? But your perspective about it does. Does that make sense to you? Challenging that thought and asking, what is the truth? Because
Yeah.
is this thought serving me? For example, your kids are not listening to you, right? They're playing with their toys, and you said, hey, it's time for dinner. You know, you called across the house and they ignored you and they continue to play with their toys. And your thought is, they're not respecting me. They are ignoring me right now. They know it's dinner time. They should be coming right away. Okay. What does that thought produce? What feeling?
Resentment
Mm-hmm.
and frustration and anger and
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay. Yes. And so what if we shift it slightly and we focus on the fact my kids are so engaged in what they are doing right now, it's really hard for them to stop playing. And I can come alongside them and connect with them for a couple minutes, see what they're doing, and then physically wrap my arms around them and guide them and say, hey, it's time to, right now, we're going to pause this. We'll come back to this later. Right now, it's time to go eat dinner. What if you do that and you have the perspective of like, hey, they're just super focused and engaged in what they're doing right now. It's really hard for them to stop playing. The situation is the same.
Yeah.
Okay. But what you're choosing to think about the situation is different. Have you ever been super engaged and focused that you're like focused on something that you're really enjoying, that you're liking, and then somebody like called you, hey, it's time to do this, and you literally just like didn't even, you barely heard it. Or you heard it and you're just like, your mind is like, oh, I'm doing this. This is so much more fun. I'm sure I've done that too, right? And so if we have that perspective, we can still get the kids to listen. We can come alongside them, see what they're doing. Actually, that's one of the like parenting techniques. If we want the kids to cooperate and have a better transition with less resistance, you get into their world for literally just a couple minutes and like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, show me what you're building here. Oh my gosh, that's such a cool tower. How did you do that? I would have never thought of that. And you kind of like engage that with them just for like a minute or two. Say, okay, I know you're having such a great time building. Right now, it's time to eat dinner. After we're done eating dinner, you can come back and keep on building. So let's put like one more piece or finish up this section, and then we're going to go eat dinner, and then you can come back to it later. You're still getting them to do what needs to be done. Is it always going to be smooth? No. Might your toddler still have a meltdown? She might. I mean, mine might for sure. But it's like the way that you're handling and the way that you're feeling in that moment is different because either you're feeling super frustrated and you raise your tone and you have that harshness come out, or maybe your kid isn't cooperating right away, but you did your part, everything you could do to guide it and have it go smoother, and you feel more calm, more peaceful, and grounded in that moment. I hope you enjoyed listening to this recording that was pulled from an actual group coaching call with the mamas that are in my coaching program. At the moment of this recording, July 5th, I have 9 mamas that are in my coaching program and 2 more mamas that are in my ongoing membership that you can join after the coaching program. And they are doing such a great job. God is doing so much work through them. We just opened a community where we can chat with each other and connect with each other. All the moms where we can encourage and pray for one another, share our wins together. And we have like a Slack channel where we get to talk and share that with one another. And it's been such a blessing. I feel so grateful that God has brought all these women into the coaching program and that He's doing such amazing work to transform their lives. It is so fun to hear week after week mamas experiencing more wins and more wins. And they will come on the coaching call and say, I have 3 wins to share today. It is so fun to see the transformation and the breakthroughs and the mindset shifts and the attitude changes and the behavior and how it's also positively transferring in their marriage. One of the things I never expected when I started this work was that the Calm Christian Mom Coaching Program would overlap so much with marriage. And as I've had mom after mom, dozens of moms go through my coaching program, one of the things that kept coming up is 90% of the moms that join Calm Christian Mom Coaching Program also have marital struggles. And their anger, their attitude, their resentment, and bitterness transfers directly into their marriage, and it affects it in a negative way. There's tension between them and their spouse. And the cool thing is when they do the work on themselves in this coaching program, it positively, naturally transfers into their marriage as well. You cannot be intentionally working on being calm, patient, grounded, tender-hearted, lighthearted, playful, connected with your kids, and for that not to transfer in your marriage. It naturally just transfers into your marriage. My friend, if you've been thinking, oh my gosh, maybe this is for me. Maybe I should join. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's going to work. You have nothing to lose. Seriously, nothing to lose and everything to gain. My program is 100% money back guarantee. If you join the program, you show up, you do the work, you do your part, you come to the calls, you watch the lessons, you do the homework assignments, you submit them, you take action on the things that you're learning, you do the journaling, and you see no progress towards your goals, and you don't even reach the goals that you set for yourself when you first joined the Calm Christian Mom Coaching Program, at week 12, I give you a full refund and we sign a contract on that. So you literally have nothing, like absolutely nothing to lose. I know it might be an investment for a lot of you, and it's meant to be, because when we invest financially. We show up when we do the work. I've had a membership in the very beginning when I started my business for $20 a month. Do you know what happened? People did not show up to the calls. People did not do the homework assignments. They did not do the work. They did not see a transformation. The reason the cost is what it is because it forces you to step out of your comfort zone and be invested and show up and do the work. When we pay something out of our comfort zone, it forces us to show up and do the work. Because it costs us very little. If it's a $20 membership, you're not really invested. $20, it's okay if I skip this week. When you pay thousands of dollars, you show up and do the work. I haven't had a single person ask for a refund because they show up and they do the work and they see the transformation. I have 100% success rate of those that have finished the Calm Christian Mom Coaching Program. Again, you have nothing to lose. I want to ask you, what would happen 5 years from today if nothing changes? What would happen? What would your relationships look like? What would your marriage be like? What would be the connection between you and your kids? Are you afraid that your kids are not going to want to spend time with you and hang out with you? I want to tell you that this is your time to make positive changes in your life. There's never a perfect time to join a program. There's never a perfect time to have a baby. You find time for things that are valuable and important to you. So if you're thinking about this and you're considering, but you're just kind of like, I'm not sure, I don't know, like if it's going to work for me, I don't know if I can commit, you can find time for things that are important and matter to you. If your relationship with your kids matter, if your legacy matters, if you want to have connection with them, if you want to be that safe person for them, if you want to break generational anger patterns, if you're literally 10 out of 10 ready, I am sick and tired screaming at my kids. I am sick and tired feeling like a terrible mom. I am sick and tired to feel stuck in this hole of shame. I want to make changes. I'm desperate for change. This is the program for you. This is not for the mom that just wants to kind of try it out. No, this is for the mom that is ready and willing to do the work to transform her motherhood, who's willing to invest and go out of her comfort zone because she knows that that is what it takes for her to show up and do the work. If you do your part, I promise you, you're going to see results. It's not maybe, you will. You will. God can do the work in you. And you know what? Sometimes we do need to take the scary step and say yes to something that feels scary and uncomfortable. And you can do this. With God's help, you can do this. Be surrounded by the support, accountability, a step-by-step process, direct access to me Monday through Friday for your individual questions, access to the group of women that are walking alongside you, that are praying for you and encouraging you. My friend, you got nothing to lose. Seriously, absolutely nothing and everything to gain. I cannot wait to connect with you. If you're ready to say yes, you're like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I need. This is exactly what I need. I don't want to mess around anymore. Then the next step is to book a free consultation call. This is a free call where you and I get on the call. You share with me where you are at and all the struggles you're dealing with, the things that you've tried. And if I feel like my program is the next best step for you, I will share with you the details about the coaching program. And then you get to decide if you want to take the next step. I'm not pushing you. I'm not talking you into it. I'm not pressuring you. You pray about it. You talk with your husband about it. You have a little bit of time to decide. And if you're ready, you take the next step. I'm here for you if you want the next step of support and transformation and to reach your goals way faster and to feel good about yourself, the way that you show up as a mom and become a confident mom who loves motherhood and thrives in motherhood instead of feeling like a victim and thinking that she's not meant to be a mom. God can change your life. The next step is to book a free consultation call. I cannot wait to connect with you. I'll talk to you soon. Hey mama, do you find yourself snapping over the smallest things like spilled milk or constant whining, then feeling horrible afterwards? If you're tired of losing your temper and you want to show up with more patience, I have something for you. It's a free training called How to Be More Patient with Your Kids so you're not screaming over spilled milk. Inside, I'll walk you through 10 simple things you can start doing today to become a calmer, more Christ-like mom, even on the hard days. To get it for free, just leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and send a screenshot to hello@emotionallyhealthylegacy.com. Or if you'd rather skip the wait, you can grab it right now for just $27. The link is in the show notes. Let's help you become the peaceful, patient mom your kids need.